Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. We are going to do the awards and thanks, and we will start with the most important award for conferences often. And I will turn it over to Farnaz and Ahmad for that.
So, Farnaz, shall I start?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I start and then. Okay, but this is distinguished paper award. It's not the best.
I think it's the same.
Okay, so hello, people of NDSS. Thank you for participating. I hope by now you know Farnaz and I are co-chairs of NDSS. And now we are going to talk about the criteria, what we use for the distinguished or best paper award of NDSS. So as you may know, NDSS papers are always the best. So congratulations to those accepted papers, and those rejected papers should not be sad. Try it next year. However, to continue this tradition of best paper award, we based on decision on a number of criteria. We looked for papers that received very enthusiastic reviews and were kind of immediately accepted. So there is no discussion about revisions, no long comment lines. Everybody was kind of happy with the paper. And of course, we found a number of very high quality papers. And as I mentioned at the opening, only 5 papers were accepted without requesting for revision and further discussions. So the paper we chose was accepted without revision and has received the best average score, also considering the confidence of the reviewers. So there are, of course, some reviewers who may have low confidence with a paper, but they like the paper so much that they score it very high, but they are still low confidence. So we wanted to know.
Ahmad, we also need to mention the timeliness of the topic and the
yes. I'm going to definitely say that. Yeah. So, and the reviews have described the reviewers of this paper that I'm going to disclose to you in a second or 10 seconds is that they have described the subject of this paper, which was an attack paper, but of course also with countermeasures, as interesting. So these are the attributes: as interesting and new, practical, timely, and high impact. This vulnerability that these authors have discovered was acknowledged and partially fixed by the corresponding vendors. However, there were also critical points in this paper. So there were, for example, one review at least that says including concerns about the evaluation and the limits of the attack. However, these points have been considered in the camera ready. This paper reveals 2 new browser history disclosure attacks that expose design flaws in service worker implementations in several major web browser family. And now the winner is?
It's my signal.
Yes, your signal. Awakening the web's sleeper agents misusing service workers for privacy leakage by Suraj Karami, Panagiotis Ilya, and Jason Polakis. Congratulations. And I don't know in which time zone you are now, but then make some drink and have fun. Thank you very much. Farnaz?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to add to the description that Ahmad described, but we all know that privacy is becoming a first-hand citizen, or has become a first-hand citizen, in particular with the fast transition of everything we do to the web platforms and to the digital platforms. So making this privacy leakage attacks that are realistic, that has had an impact, and they had impact in fixing it as well, looked like a very worthwhile endeavor to us. And that was, one of the main criteria. As Ahmad said, we had a number of excellent papers, and not every excellent paper was directly accepted. So it's not that we just went and said, oh, we have 5 papers, let's decide between them. We actually have gone through all the major revision papers. We have that have received highly acclaimed reviews. We have gone through the accepted papers that went through the first round, and this paper really stood out. It caught attention because it was talking about a real world attack, and the attack was responsibly handled. It was also, just off the batch, the first one. So it was like, it had all stars around it. And, that's why we decided to go with this one after a lot of discussions and, the diligence. And for that, I would actually congratulate the authors, congratulate, Surush, Panagiotis, and Jason. Great work. Continue submitting to NDSS and supporting NDSS, and tell everyone else how great it is. Now that you have got the Best Paper Award, you should be one of our proponents to submit your best papers again to this conference. We are really happy in general with the quality of the papers that got accepted and were submitted, and I'm sure we will continue to have that next year. As I will continue to be involved and get advice from of course Professor Sadeghi and Professor Jager and other great people on the organizing committee of NDSS to continue this excellence in tradition. Thanks everyone, and back to Trent.
All right, congrats to the authors. Thanks Ahmad and Fernaz. I think I will turn it over next to Adwait Nadkarni, who will give the poster awards.
Hey folks, so we had some really exciting posters in the session. We are going to give out 3 poster awards based on the votes, because the votes were really close. So the first best poster award goes to, and Trent, that's a cue.
Okay, cue.
A framework for effective corporate communication after cybersecurity incidents. This is a poster by Jason Nurse and Richard Knight. Congratulations to the authors. This was the poster that received the most number of votes, and for both technical and best poster. So again, congratulations to the authors, and we're going to do the next best poster award.
Okay, cued again.
All right. The next award goes to limiting damage spread in the Internet of Things using feature-based immunization techniques by Farrell Foley. Again, this is a really cool poster that received a lot of votes. So congratulations to the authors. And we go to the next poster.
Okay.
The final best poster award goes to Automated Vulnerability Assessment for Embedded Systems. This was a poster by Ulrich Lang, Holmes Chong, Reza Fatehi, Will Swift, and Jason Kramer. So congratulations to the authors again. And those are the 3 best poster awards. Thanks again for you all for voting. And we had a really cool poster session. Thank you.
Congrats to the poster award winners, and thanks to all the folks who submitted posters. And so I will do a few acknowledgements, and then I think Karen will do a few acknowledgements and thanks. And so I will go right into it. The first acknowledgement and thanks is for our program committee co-chairs, Ahmad Reza Sadeghi and Fernaz. I don't think I've ever said your last name, Fernaz. How do you?
Kushanfar.
Kushanfar. Okay, Kushanfar. That's not so hard. Fernaz Kushanfar, who will be our co-chair next year as well. And we will soon announce in the next coming weeks her co-chair for 2022. So thanks for everything, you guys. Despite this added dimension of virtuals and pandemics and all of this other complexity and challenges of getting the right balance on the program committee and all of these kinds of things, you guys did an awesome job. And I must say that I've also put extra pressure on the program chairs the last 2 years, trying to ensure that every paper that's submitted to NDSS in this year's cycle is decided on and accepted or not to appear, the ones that are accepted will appear in this year's conference. You don't submit in this year for a paper that's going to, be presented in some future year down the road. And that puts extra pressure on the program chairs. So I appreciate everything you guys have done for the conference and look forward to moving forward with Farnaz and her cohort next year. Additionally, we had 6 great workshops, and these were coordinated and evaluated. The submissions were evaluated and the workshops coordinated by Brad Reeves and Yasemin Akar. And thanks to them for your efforts here. The workshops went off like a dream, and I heard nothing but great things about the workshops this year. And you saw Adwait, one of our poster committee co-chairs, along with Xiaojing Liao. And, in this age of a little bit more complexity in our lives, they did a great job selecting a fine poster program. And we look forward to doing posters this year and all the years going forward. Thanks, Adwait and Xiaojing. I think I might have stepped on you, Karen, on this one. But I'll thank Alexandra as well, since she and the Student Travel Grants Committee, obviously it was a little more complicated this year since there is no travel. So what this meant was a bit complicated, and we had a lot of discussion about this, but I also thank Alexandra for her efforts in this. So I'll let you thank Alexandra as well, Karen.
Thank you. The only thing I wanted to mention was that she and her committee did a lot of work right at the last minute. We were able to award 20 or so grants. And so, again, it was a little bit more complicated. We weren't sure what it looked like, but we do appreciate the last minute effort.
So I will go to the next. Now, you cue me to when to go.
Okay. So I'm going to go through some of the logistics positions on the organizing committee. First is David Ballinson, and he's really the person that does a lot of the heavy lifting for managing, getting the papers in proper order and getting them up on the website and publishing the proceedings and getting everything registered in the DOIs. And so he really does a ton of work, and he deserves a lot of credit. So thank you, David. Next. This year we had Brandon Saltaframaggio and Reginita Kasturi. Brandon is the publicity chair, and he did a fantastic job. And then at the last minute, he brought on a student to work with him to help with all of the live tweeting. We really upped our social media game this year. I'm not very good at social media, but they did a fantastic job. So thank you to them. Next. We had Robert Broberg as our sponsorships chair. Obviously, sponsorships is very important. And he took on that job and did very well. So we appreciate his work. Next. Local arrangements chair was Tom Hutton. We didn't have quite as much for him to do this year because we were virtually, but we do hope to put him back to work next year. The next slide. This is our outgoing general chair, Trent, as you well know. He's, I think he originally signed on for 2 years and he ended up staying for 3. And I don't think any of us imagined what this 3rd year was going to look like. So we really appreciate all of his work and his patience as we figured out this, this whole new virtual approach to things. So thank you very much, Trent. And then there will be a small thank you coming in the mail at some point. Carrie Gates is our incoming general chair. So she did help Trent and I this year, and she will be taking over next year. All of these previous positions that you've seen, if you're interested in helping in any way, be sure you reach out to her because she will be helping. She will be doing all of the staffing of all of the positions from the community. Next. And I really wanted to do this because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and this year seems to have been more chaotic than normal. So we use AMS for our event planning and logistics, and these are all the folks that have helped with all the videos and everything, designed the gather space, and run the registration system, answered all of your emails. And so I think in particular the AMS staff deserve a lot of credit. We had some new ISOC staff this year that I wanted to recognize because I think we did a better job on the ISOC side and in the communications aspects with Susanna Gray, and with the sponsorships and grant support with Sally, Karen, Laura. So with all of those folks, it takes a lot of people to pull all of this together. So thank you. Next. And our sponsors. We definitely thank our sponsors. We have our platinum sponsor in NSF, our gold sponsor in Google. Next. Our silver sponsors, ByteDance, IBM, Intel Security, Qualcomm, Palo Alto, and Microsoft. Our bronze sponsor, Checkpoint Novi. Baidu sponsored one of the workshops. And then also we worked in cooperation with Usenix, and obviously we were hosted by the Internet Society. I think even in this virtual environment, we were able to get a really strong number of sponsors, so we're quite happy with that. Next. So save the date. The current plan for NDSS 2022 is going to be back in San Diego. All things, with the caveat, tentative, hopefully. 27th of February to 3rd of March 2022 are the dates for that. Next slide. Attendees, I wanted to thank all of you all for participating. As we indicated earlier on, we've had really good attendance. We have 750 plus registrations. We've had a consistent participation in Gather. We've had, well over 100, 150 in the keynotes. We've had good attendance in all of the sessions. And we actually had really good attendance in the Asia Pacific replay as well. So we were getting anywhere from 15 to 30 people in each of those sessions. So I think all things considered, it went really well. And without all of the attendees, it wouldn't have been worth doing. So that's the end of my thank yous.
Yes, thanks, Karen. And I just want to say briefly, thanks to everybody. It's been, a little bit of work being general chair, but the conference results have always been, the enthusiasm has always been much greater, and really made me pleased to participate in NDSS as a general chair over these last 3 years. Of course, we'll want to thank the attendees who make that happen, as well as especially the program chairs over the years, Alina Oprea, Dongyan Xu, and Fernaz and Ahmad, who have made this conference organization on the program side smooth, and been able to execute these crazy ideas that we come up with. And I, of course, want to thank Karen, who is I was going to say ringleader, but ringmaster of this circus of this NDSS conference, especially this year, keeping all the wheels on the bus and keeping them going round and round, as the little kids say, has been definitely a challenge. And thanks for all your help. So, I think that's all for the awards. Congratulations to all the awardees. And we look forward to the next NDSS and the rest of today.